Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for a Q&A. You asked, I'm answering. I have answered tons of questions on my previous Q&As, which I have put all together in a playlist. Personal questions about everything from marriage to children to career to YouTube. So if you have a question or had a question that you're curious about that you feel like I haven't answered, chances are it has already been addressed. I will go ahead and link my Q&A playlist. I do find that I get a lot of repeat questions here on YouTube, so this time around I pulled questions from my Instagram followers. Shout out to the IG Tonettes. You guys sent in some pretty good questions on my stories that I'm about to answer. First question, Berla Jane Vibes, shout out to you. Would you rather eat the same meal for the rest of your life or never YouTube again? Okay, I love this question because you guys know that YouTube is actually my favorite hobby. I love video content creation. I love interacting with the community that I've built here. It is definitely my favorite platform, but the fact that it's my favorite platform means there are other platforms. And I feel like I could engage with you guys via video on Instagram, on TikTok, on Snap. I could go back to good old Snapchat, Facebook even. So I feel like I would rather never YouTube again because food? Y'all already know. No, I need my food. I need my food. Jen Chris 1128 says, any more home projects and any more decor videos? I do have a couple things that I want to do around the house still. I would like to add a couple of shelving units to the kitchen. I would love to do my backyard. And I still have not done anything with my entryway. So hopefully those are projects that I will tackle in the future. And any more decor videos, if there are more decor projects, then of course I will be doing more decor videos. Purple Lover says, where do you see yourself in 10 years? In 10 years, I hope to see myself happy, healthy, and financially secure. Serenity asks, would you rather spend your money on travel or a luxury home? This one is a little bit difficult for me to answer because if I'm being honest, I don't have any desire for a luxury home. If you have followed me for any length of time, you know that I love renovating and redecorating. I love fixer-uppers. I love homes with character. I love homes with potential. And I love making a space my own and making it unique. So I don't really have a desire to buy, a luxury finished home. Based on the way that you worded this, I guess I would spend it on travel in that case. Although if I were to get a fixer-upper, I would love to spend money on making that home unique and my own. But the way you worded it, yeah, I have no desire for a luxury home. Luxury homes just, I guess, don't do it for me. Serenity again says, what is the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself since the breakup? The biggest thing I think that I learned was my value. You know, with my previous relationship, I got into that relationship so young. I was 19 years old when I first met my ex, and I'm nowhere near that young, naive, doe-eyed Toni that I was at 19. I know I deserve better now as grown and sexy Toni, but coming out of it at this age made me realize that I actually deserve better the entire time. Like, it made me really see my value for what it is. I won't even say that I bring a lot to the table. I am the table. Like, I made the table, I brought the table, you know what I mean? I furnished the table, I plated the table, and it took getting out of that relationship for me to realize how much value I truly have. The African Empress says, is there anything you would change from your past if you could go back in time? So I'm one of those people who believes that the choices you make really affect the outcome of your future. So do you guys remember Choose Your Own Adventure books? Because I used to read those all the time when I was in grade school, and maybe that's why I feel this way. I was addicted to Choose Your Own Adventure books. But I really do believe that, like, small choices that we made in the past could severely change the course of our futures. And so, because I really love my life and love my family and my friends and the person I am today, I would say no, I wouldn't go back and change anything from the past because I wouldn't want to affect my present. Insta Sams says, are you still planning on getting cosmetic surgery once the panorama is under control? Okay, the whole panorama. Yeah. The panorama, girl, really changed everything. Like everything. There's a saying that Half always says, which is man plans and God laughs. And I truly believe that. It's like, I don't even know if there's a point in making plans anymore because everything is so uncertain right now with the whole panoramic. So I wouldn't say that I'm still planning to get cosmetic surgery after the panoramic. I would love to. I want to get cosmetic surgery. It is something that I desire, but in terms of planning, I'm actually kind of winging it right now. I'm not making solid plans for anything because everything is so uncertain. Treasure Redmond says, what's one technique that grew your business? When I started selling my wares, I did not plan on making it a business per se. You know, if somebody saw a pair of earrings that I made that I was wearing and they wanted them from me, they would just hit me up. I would make them a pair and that was it. It wasn't like I was doing it for a living. I think what grew my business was just honestly my genuine love for what I was doing. Like I was making stuff for me because I loved it. I wanted stuff that reflected me, my blackness, my personality, my newfound love for natural hair, you know, like Afrocentric clothing, accessories, hair extensions, stuff like that. And it wasn't as readily available back then when I started as it is now. So I think what moved it from a hobby to a business was my actual genuine love for my own products. I love supporting black owned businesses, but you'll see consistently that I actually wear my own products. Like I love my earrings. I'm still an earring junkie. I still love creating jewelry. I created this pendant and necklace here, my little Black Power fist. So it's just something that I genuinely love doing, and I think that that was well received. Nellin Blue says, what's your favorite scripture? Ooh, good question. I don't know. It's a really long book, isn't it? If I had to pick one that stands out, it would probably be trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your paths, which is actually 2 verses, I believe, Proverbs 3:5-6. But the whole phrase really speaks to me because I find it extremely reassuring. I think that we as, you know, mankind, humankind, tend to question often, not necessarily our faith or beliefs, but are we doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? I like the fact that the scripture focuses on the fact that our understanding is extremely limited. Like our little human man brains cannot comprehend that which is divine. You know what I mean? It just is like our reassurance, like, there, little human, I got you. As humankind, we cannot fathom with our limited understanding the divinity, you know what I mean? The omnipotence of the one we call the creator. And that transcends faiths, whether you are Christian, Muslim, Hindu. There is a greater power that we don't have to understand to know that we are taken care of or to know that we're good. V Blessed says, what is your proudest moment of 2021 thus far? That's a tough one because we're only 4 months in, aren't we? I don't feel like I've had a significantly proud moment in the last 4 months, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like I had a lot of wins, a lot of W's in 2020. I was really proud of the way I came out of 2020. But 2021, if I'm being completely honest, I can't think of my proudest moment this year thus far. Caduce21 says, what is your best childhood memory? I think my best childhood memory was a birthday party that I had when I was younger. I want to say it was either my 7th or 8th birthday. I was quite young. The home was a bungalow, and in the basement there was two huge rooms. The first had a bar, if you guys remember, like homes back in the 80s. Well, I guess it would have been built in the 70s, but homes back in the 80s, early 90s had bars, huge bars, right? Because of drinking culture in homes back then. So the first room had this huge bar, and then there was another sort of attached room that was just a big open space with a huge fireplace. And my sister, my oldest sister, Christine, blew up what felt like 1,000 balloons. Like 1,000 balloons. All I remember is that the ceiling, you couldn't see the ceiling anymore. It was covered in balloons. The thing about Black kids parties is that they're actually adult parties with kids there. So it's like once all my school friends left, it just became a jam, you know what I mean? And I remember going upstairs, taking off my party dress, getting in my pajamas, coming back down, and all the adults were turning up and dancing. And I thought it was just the best birthday party ever. Love me for me, no regrets. Shout out to you, Love Me. She said, what life lesson did you learn the hard way? Are you now glad you learned it that way? I think a life lesson that I learned the hard way, and this is a life lesson that I learned very early on, was that as bad as it sounds, it's like you cannot trust nobody. Trust no one. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, people will wrong you because they're people. You know, and the only person that truly, truly has your back and your best interest in mind is you and God. So yeah, it was a hard lesson to learn for me. I learned it, I think, in my teenage years. And yeah, the way I learned it was definitely in a hard way. Am I glad I learned it that way? I mean, it wasn't the best way to learn it. You know, I wish there was another way, but if it had come about another way, like, would I have really learned the lesson? I don't know. It's hard to say. Oh, the real DJ Skin. Shout out to you. Where have y'all been? Are you all okay? Did you miss us? So obviously I'm very active on YouTube, but I have not been as active on Instagram, which is where me and DJ kick it all the time. So in terms of where I've been over here on YouTube just trying to, you know, get my Veda on. I will definitely be making a return to Instagram though, because I do miss you guys over there. Bronzy Bella! Oh my goodness, I love Bronzy Bella to death. Bronzy Bella asks, what do you love most about your life right now? I love the peace. I love how peaceful my life is right now. You hear that exhale? It's such an incredible feeling to be at peace. Little things bring me joy, and the people that I have in my life right now are very similar to me in that way, that little things bring them joy. And so I love enjoying the little things in life with the people around me. Being in this position now, I realize how drastic it is from, you know, the person I had in my life before who did not find joy from little things. So it's definitely a breath of fresh air and what I love the most about my life right now. Prissy Brat says, do you ever think you will get remarried? I answered that in a previous Q&A, so definitely check out my Q&A playlist linked below. Goddess247 Scroll says, do you want children? I answered that in a previous Q&A. I will link that down below. DShay90 says, I don't know if you're in a sorority, but if you aren't, which one of the Divine Nine would you be in? No, I'm not in a sorority, was never in a sorority, and I actually would not join any of these sororities because sororities and sorority life is not something that appeals to me. To each their own. Jillian G says, where's the first place you're traveling to once Miss Rona is under control? So the first type of vacation that I want to take is a beach vacation with my girls. In terms of the destination, again, going back to the planning question, we'll see depending on the restrictions of certain countries when that time comes around. But the type of vacation I'd like to take is definitely a beach vacation with the girls. Natural B Original says, why are you a complete vibe? Girl, stop. Kareen says, what is the biggest takeaway lesson you've learned during lockdown? I don't know. I think just that the things we deem essential really aren't. They really aren't. And the things that I miss the most have nothing to do with places, but more so people. April DXOXO says staging updates question mark. Do you shop for staging pieces to have on hand for potential work? No, I don't have any staging updates. Nothing new. Everything I previously told you still remains the same. And if I see something that is very unique, that I love, that I think is a great price, and that won't fit into my home, then yes, I will purchase it, put it into my storage, and keep it on hand in case it fits into a space that is not my own. Slick Slim says, will you ever make your own wine and beer again? So, making my own wine and beer was something that I definitely enjoyed. I did it very often when I was in my previous home. If you guys remember that home, I had a huge kitchen which included a wine fridge or beverage fridge. So, I had adequate storage for cases of wine and cases of beer. Now that I've downsized to a much smaller home, I do not have a wine fridge and I do not have a lot of storage for beverages. So it just depends if I have, for example, an event that I'm planning that I need a lot of wine for, or a get together, a gathering that I need a lot of wine for, then at that point I would. But to just have wine on hand to store, I no longer have a wine fridge or wine cooler to store it in. I did actually come across a black owned winemaking vintner, so I would definitely love to incorporate that into a support assistive video at some point. We'll just see if there's a need for it. Nyla 1988 says, truly, after all the drama, how are you really feeling? I am feeling blessed. And Jen Chris 1128 says, what's Veda? Girl, Veda's done.